So really, when I think about my career, there's been many roles that I've had the pleasure of serving in. And I say that and don't take it lightly. I serve. And it's just so rewarding because as a result, when you give to others, the rewards come back to you. For example, in 2017, the Indianapolis Business Journal here in Indianapolis, Indiana, where I live, actually awarded me as one of the most influential women. Another one that comes to mind, I received the most prestigious award from the company I worked for, and it was the President's Award for Diversity. I can remember a time where I had many mentors, allies, supporters, sponsors in my career, when I was working in the corporate environment. And one of the things that happened is that the company went through some structural changes and offered early retirement to a lot of individuals. And it was such a good package that, overnight I saw all my mentors walk out the door. I can remember coming under new leadership, and as a result of that, the person not knowing me, not knowing the value that I've been providing to the company for years, not understanding and taking the opportunity to know me as an individual and connect with me. When you think about where you are in your career at any given time, it's not just dealing with the professional. You also can have personal challenges in your life. So for me, my story reads so odd. I promise I can't make this stuff up. In 2016, I was actually rear-ended by a teenager going 45 miles an hour. That devastated my life. But what was more profound is at the time that the accident happened, I was on my way to see my uncle who was dying. And I never got to say goodbye to him. And instead, he passed away 3 days later, and then they buried him on my birthday. If that wasn't enough, then my mom got sick. If that wasn't enough, then the following year, my dad got cancer. And in 4 months, he was deceased. It was just a challenging time. And in the midst of this, my husband and I had decided to build a house, and we just had so much going on. And then out of the blue comes this new leader that doesn't know me. And what I realized is that this person was creating a narrative about me, a narrative that was contrary to my perception, to the way I perceived myself, to the way I wanted to be, known to the public. And I failed to actually tell my story. And I knew this stuff, guys. I mean, this is not new. I was working in branding for years at this point and knew it. But the fact is that I thought because I'd done nothing wrong, that there would be nothing that would come of this. The lesson here is that you always put yourself in a position where you can tell your narrative, you can tell your story. Because if you don't, it's a very risky proposition. As a result of all this, I was demoted, my team was torn down. The difference in this devastation, however, was that I knew who I was. And knowing who you are and having the confidence to know your value and your worth was what sustained me. And I'm saying to you, had I not had a brand, had I not known who I was and was confident in my value to other people, I probably would have crumbled. I believe, given what happened to me and knowing how I could have impacted the outcome, and it would have been a very different story for me and my team, others definitely should be telling their story. You have an obligation to protect your brand, to protect your image, to protect your reputation. And if you're not telling your story, if you're not connecting with other people and people don't feel like they know who you are, then you're leaving yourself in a very vulnerable place for others to create the narrative about you. My name is Yolanda M. Smith, and I am the founder and chief brand purpose for Branding for Success.